is in the South. It's like you get any at all, it's amazing. But you go 2 years without seeing a flake, it has been crazy. So, I was actually happy to see it because I don't like snow droughts. I love snow. I don't want 6 months of winter, but I love a good snowstorm, and we just haven't had a lot. Speaking of the hurricane season, we're talking a lot about Aaron. Because obviously last year Helene was a huge part of the story last year in both your area and our areas. How do you guys approach hurricane season in Eastern Tennessee? Do you think things have changed and that people watch these storms a lot closer post Helene now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. People are much more concerned about the tropics now than they were prior to Helene. We have a lot of viewers that have interests over in the Carolinas and down along the northern Gulf Coast. So, folks pay attention to the tropics, but especially after last year, kind of like what you were mentioning about different areas having different impacts than they did pre-Helene when it comes to even just a heavy rain event. One of our counties, for example, Cott County, is the one that the Pigeon River flows into from North Carolina down into Newport. And they'll have flooding now when they only get 2 inches of rain, which in the past would never have been a problem for them. So like you said, the floodwaters from Helene have reshaped our rivers, kind of reshaped our hillsides and just how the water flows and interacts with the land. And, those impacts are kind of still being learned as we're going along here. So daily rain is different for us. And I know that if we get a tropical system up here, the impacts, I would think, might be more than what they would have been prior to Helene coming through the region.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknowns. I think that's the thing that is kind of frightening because the hydrology of so much of this has changed. And I think even the Weather Service is struggling with how they're going to issue flood advisories and warnings, not knowing how these creeks and river basins are going to behave. So I think that's something we'll have to watch going and see. I'm knocking on every piece of wood I can that we do not have a system this fall because I don't know if the mental state of many people in the Southern Appalachians can deal with any tropical system heading our way. But we have seen the flooding, so that's been part of it as well. Tim, any follow-ups? We're almost out of time. We got 30 seconds. This always goes way too quick. Anything you want to add before we wrap up tonight?
Well, I just thank you for joining us. I'm always interested to see what the weather's like all across the Southeast. You're always welcome here anytime if you want to visit us here in the Carolinas.
Well, I'll let you know. I'll be right on the other side of the mountains.
Yeah. Well, when you guys get snow and we don't, we will definitely call you up so we can see it.
Oh, absolutely. We've had 2 8 to 10 inch snowfall events in the last 2 years.
Oh, don't say that. I want to get
just to make you jealous. Just letting you know.
All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Stay tuned. More news coverage coming up here on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for joining us here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. Going to start with a very bad bus accident. This happened in Travis County down in Austin, Texas. A bad bus rollover crash here that really impacted 10 people who were taken to a hospital. 2 are still dealing with serious injuries tonight. So let's go to KVUE, our content partners down in Texas, to get more information on this situation.
We're here to give a brief update about rollover collision on Nameless Road involving a Leander ISD school bus. Today at approximately 3:15, we received reports in the 911 center of the school bus rollover from Leander ISD. Upon arriving on scene, our paramedics and firefighters and police officers identified 43 total patients from the collision. Of those, 12 needed transport. 1 has life-threatening injuries, 2 have potentially life-threatening injuries, and the remaining 40 have non-life-threatening injuries. For the EMS side, 10 total transport units responded. That consisted of 6 ambulances from Austin Travis County EMS, 2 ambulances from ESD-1, which is the North Lake Travis Fire Rescue Department, and 2 Travis County Starflight helicopters. It should be noted that those Starflight helicopters do not indicate the severity of the patient's conditions. It was related to the distance that all of the transport units were away from the rural area here. Of those 12 total transports, multiple patients were transported to Dell Children's Center at Mueller at 51st and I-35. Others went to Texas Children's North, Dell Children's North, and also the Cedar Park Regional Medical Center. For those patients who weren't transported away from the scene for further evaluation, a family reunification area has been established at the Round Mountain Baptist Church, located at 14,500 Round Mountain Road in Leander. With that, I'll turn it over to my colleagues to speak to their parts.
How are you? I'm Sergeant Billy Ray, Billyyray. I'm the Public Information Officer for Texas DPS Highway Patrol in this area. Our preliminary crash investigation shows the bus was traveling south here on Nameless Road. The road does have a slight curve, as we can see. For an unknown reason, the bus left the right side of the roadway, rolling it over. The school bus is a 2024 Bluebird school bus, and it is equipped with seat belts. Our preliminary crash investigation is ongoing as we speak. We still have troopers still conducting our crash investigation on scene. As information comes available from the crash investigation, I will release that to the media. But right now, that's all we have. Everything is preliminary. All right. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Bruce Gearing, the Superintendent of Leander ISD. This part of our Leander ISD family has been through so much already this summer with the floods, and this tragedy this afternoon is really breaking our hearts. We want each of those students and their families to know that our prayers are with them, our thoughts are with them, and we will do everything that we can in our power to support them. We will be here for all of those students who are affected and their friends and families as much as we can. We thank you for your patience as we develop further understanding of this situation.
Thank you. I'm Eric Carter. I'm the Chief Emergency Management Coordinator at Travis County. So we've got the reunification center at Round Mountain Baptist Church up and going at the request of the Incident Command for EMS. Parents are there. We have lots of resources that we've deployed there. That's the good news. Unfortunately, as the superintendent said, we've been out here already supporting the area. This is just another unfortunate incident that has happened out in this area. But for the good news is we're here in force, and we're supporting them. Parents who they should, if they don't know where to go, they should go to Round Mountain Baptist Church to make sure that we got several children there. We're working through the reunification process, and we want them to obviously show up there and make sure we can reunite them as fast as possible with their kids. We're doing everything we can. We've got several agencies already on site: Health and Human Services, Integral Care, Austin Travis EMS, the ESDs has been reported out. So we're doing everything we can. You should know that the kids generally were doing okay as we gathered them in the the location that we have, and the parents are being taken well. We're taking well care of the parents as well. We're doing everything we can as fast as we can. So, with that, I'll step back and take any questions.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions. One, what school was this bus coming from? And two, does that bus have seatbelts?
So this bus primarily transports students out of Baghdad Elementary School, and yes, the bus does have seatbelts.
Is it 2 or 3-point seatbelts?
It has the state-regulated seatbelts that were, this is a 2024 bus, so as it comes from the manufacturer.
Do we know if all of them at the time were wearing seatbelts?
I do not have that information at this time.
Are the children required to wear the seatbelts?
If the bus is equipped with seatbelts, then yes, they are required to wear the seatbelts.
Can you tell me a little bit about when school got out and like what part of the route they were on and how long the bus driver has been, like is this the first year for the bus driver?
I do not have information about the bus driver other than that this is one of our seasoned veteran bus drivers. This was immediately after school, got out, and I believe that no students had been dropped off yet. This was the first part of that route.
I'll take you.
You mentioned flood damage in this area. Do you know if the flood damage contributed to the crash at all, or if this road had been damaged by the flood?
I think this is a completely separate incident to the flood incident. Other than that, this community is the one that was affected by the flood and is now affected by this incident as well.
Do you know if you'll be doing anything like emotional support, or the school still be in session? What do we know about that?
We are already mobilizing our counseling force across the district to support that campus tomorrow, as well as the families as much as we can. So we'll do everything in our power to make sure that they get the support that they need as they go forward, not just in the short term, but in the long term as well.
So school still will be in session tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we know transportation-wise what you guys are going to do? Or will they have to arrange their own or another bus?
So we've just been dealing with the immediate needs of this, and so our team will get together and make sure that we have all of those plans in place by the morning.
Do we know if the driver was injured at all?
The driver was injured and transported to the hospital. That's all I know at this time.
Good. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, some good updates there by leaders from ISD in the Independent School District of Travis County, talking a little bit more about that terrible bus accident where 10 individuals were actually injured. 2, as we know, are serious condition tonight and recovering in Austin hospitals right now. We do want to go now to this update where federal authorities met with CMPD to talk about the update in terms of these straw purchases with guns and what they're looking for in terms of getting people convicted when they do have these charges and what that looks like in terms of consequences, making them harsher penalties for individuals that are caught and convicted with these straw gun purchases. So we're going to go to this as CMPD teamed up with ATF and a number of other organizations talking a little bit about this initiative earlier today.
Public Awareness Initiative here in the Charlotte area. My name is Joe Bartozzi. I'm the president and CEO of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, also known as NSSF. And for those of you that don't know who we are, NSSF is the trade association for the firearm and ammunition industry. Our members include firearm and ammunition manufacturers, distributors, shooting ranges, and thousands of federally licensed firearm retailers. Today, the firearm industry employs nearly 400,000 hardworking Americans, and we are proud to represent each and every one of them. And that includes Hyatt Gun Shop, where we are today. We'd like to thank Larry Hyatt, as well as Neil Connor, the general manager here at Hyatt, and the entire hardworking team for accommodating us and hosting us at today's important announcement. So Larry and Neil, thank you so much to you and your entire staff. So we're here at Hyatt to call attention to the cooperative efforts between the industry, the ATF, the DOJ, and local law enforcement to prevent the crime of straw purchasing. What I mean by that is illegally purchasing a firearm for someone who is not eligible to do so on their own. The Don't Lie for the Other Guy campaign is in its 25th year and is a hallmark of success in preventing crime. All of us are invested in ensuring that firearms remain beyond the reach of prohibited individuals, and the Don't Lie campaign is crucial in that national effort to prevent these illegal straw purchases. And I have to also point out and emphasize that neighborhood firearm retailers, like those here at Hyatt and as well as others in Charlotte and around the state of North Carolina, are literally the first line of defense in preventing these types of illegal purchases. and we at NSSF are really proud to work with ATF to help retailers identify and prevent illegal straw purchases. I'd like to welcome a few folks who are here with us today for this announcement. First, as I previously mentioned, we're glad to be here at Hyatt, and also a sincere thank you to the media, all of you, for showing up to help us get this important message out to the greater Charlotte area. Joining me today is Charlotte Area Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives Special Agent in Charge, Alicia Jones. Special Agent Jones, thank you so much for coordinating with our team to make today happen and to be here as part of today's important announcement. Also here with us is Department of Justice United States Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina, Russ Ferguson. U.S. Attorney Ferguson, thank you, as well as your team, for the important work that you do to keep communities like Charlotte safe. Also with us today is Charlotte Metro Police Department Captain Stephen Fischbach. So thank you, Captain Fischbach, for taking time to be with us today. The NSSF, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, as well as all public officials, public safety officials, stand together to remind the public that individuals convicted of illegally purchasing a firearm for someone who cannot do so on their own can face up to 15 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. This year's month-long Don't Lie public education campaign in and around Charlotte is robust and will deliver more than 35.5 million media impressions once this program is completed in mid-September. This includes an outdoor campaign on 20 billboards that are strategically placed along all the busiest surface streets and freeways in and around Charlotte. I saw one as I was driving in here this morning, so that was really cool. As well as 30 display posters placed at other locations throughout the city. There will also be more than 850 radio spots that will run on 4 of the top FM radio stations in Charlotte. That would be WEND, WKKT, WKLO, and WPEG. Lastly, there will be a social media and mobile device display component with more than 4.313 million Don't Lie advertisements on Facebook and Instagram, as well as geo-fenced mobile display ads in and around Charlotte, all with the message reminding the public, don't lie for the other guy. Now, this component of our important multimedia campaign is fully funded by members of the firearm industry, like Hyatt, and we're grateful for their support in this effort. In addition, and very importantly, beginning about 2 years ago, our Don't Lie public awareness campaigns have been complemented for outreach with additional federal funding allocated to ATF by Congress. The Don't Lie for the Other Guy program helps ATF educate hardworking employees at firearm retailers so they are better prepared to spot and deter illegal straw purchases. We're very proud of our long and cooperative relationship with the entire law enforcement community, and we are proud to assist in their efforts to combat the criminal acquisition and the misuse of firearms. Once again, a special thank you goes out to the industry members like Hyatt and others across Charlotte and North Carolina, to ATF Special Agent Jones and her team, to U.S. Attorney Ferguson and his office, as well as all the dedicated men and women in law enforcement here in the Charlotte area for demonstrating their commitment to the Don't Lie for the Other Guy program. And thank you for coordinating with us today for this special press event. So I'll turn it over to Special Agent Alicia Jones. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Alicia Jones, and I'm the Special Agent in charge of ATF Charlotte Field Division. We're joining the NSSF, our U.S. Attorney, and law enforcement and community partners in Charlotte to prevent and prosecute the crimes of illegal straw purchasing. Straw purchasing is when an individual illegally purchases a firearm for someone who cannot possess one. This initiative, Don't Lie for the Other Guy, is in its 25th year, and we were funded through Congress by the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. It's a message we feel is important to repeat. Throughout this month, we will see service announcements, the campaign in Charlotte on billboards, kiosks, and digital monitors, plus featured on web browsers and heard on music stations. You may have already seen one coming in. This message is very important in combating violent crime. And as I mentioned earlier, straw purchasing is used to describe the process of purchasing a firearm for someone who is prohibited from having one. Most often, these individuals are looking to earn money, purchasing a gun for someone who couldn't pass a background check, or for someone whose name doesn't want to appear on the paperwork. When someone asks you to buy a gun for them, don't. This is not a victimless crime. These guns are often used in criminal activities and could result in the death of someone you love. The straw purchaser must bear the responsibility of the violent crimes committed with the guns that are allowed to enter this black market. As a penalty for that act, individuals convicted of purchasing a firearm from someone who is prohibited could face up to 15 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. In North Carolina, in 2023, trace reports showed that we recovered and traced over 27,000 firearms across the state. More than half of those were tied to illegal gun possession. It is our mission at ATF to prevent violent crime, and we're fortunate to have so many partners in this effort, like Hyatt Guns. The FFLs are the first line of defense when it comes to stopping straw purchasers. They can help support the signs of potential customers who may be attempting a straw purchase. Shining a spotlight on straw purchasing and preventing the violent crimes that are associated with these illegally trafficked firearms is what makes Charlotte a safer place for everyone who lives and works here. I would now like to turn it over to our U.S. Attorney, Russ Ferguson.
Well, thank you, Special Agent Jones. I appreciate it. And thank you all for covering this, because as you can see, we're united on this. Not just law enforcement at the federal and the local level, but the gun shops too. And we're united with a simple message. If you buy a gun for someone else, you're breaking the law. That is a federal crime, and we prosecute it every day. So here's how it works. You walk into a gun shop like this one, or a sports store, or any federally licensed firearms dealer, and you fill out the paperwork to buy a gun. And when you fill out that paperwork and you write down that you're buying a gun, but you're actually buying it for someone else, that's a straw purchase, and that's a federal crime. That can be life-changing, and it's life-changing for everyone, because the reason someone is having you buy a gun for them is because they either are prohibited from owning a gun or possessing a gun, or they're going to use that gun for an illicit purpose and they don't want it traced back to them. So that means that gun is probably going to be used in a shooting, a carjacking, a robbery, God forbid, a murder. But it's also life-changing for the person who makes that purchase. Just recently, my office charged a former Gastonia police officer with straw purchasing a gun, and she faces 15 years in prison, or up to 15 years in prison for that crime. So I share that with a reason. This is not a prosecution that ends with a slap on the wrist. It's not like you're coming into a store and making a small white lie on a form and you're going to end up with probation. We send people to federal prison for doing this. And federal prison is just the start. After that, you have a federal conviction on your record. That means you might not be able to volunteer at your kid's school. You won't be able to own a gun. You may have trouble getting a job. The consequences are serious for doing this. So when you go into a gun shop and you go to buy a gun, know that every answer on the form matters. If you're legitimately buying a gun, no issue. But if you're buying a gun for someone else, you're lying, the paper trail will lead to you, and that is a federal crime. The ATF has done a great job, CMPD has done a great job at investigating those cases. We find the folks doing it, and we aggressively prosecute them. And once we do, we hear every excuse in the book. Well, I was just doing a favor for my friend. They needed it for protection. I didn't think it was a big deal. I didn't know it was illegal. We hear it all. None of those excuses work. None of them hold up in court. You will be prosecuted for buying a gun for someone else. When someone asks you to do that, I want you to think about what they're asking you to do. If they're saying, I'll pay you to go buy a gun for me, ask yourself, what is the price of your freedom? If they say, I'm your friend, I'm your brother, I'm your uncle, do it for me, we have this relationship, ask yourself, do they want me to go to jail? Here in the Western District of North Carolina, we have seen firsthand how straw purchases hurt people. We have seen these guns used in crimes time and time again, and that's why we're united with the gun shops, with the federal law enforcement, with local law enforcement, to attack these straw purchasers who are putting guns into the hands of people who cannot otherwise have a gun. We're cutting off the supply chain, so I'll leave you with this. The person you buy a gun for today could be the reason you lose your freedom tomorrow. Don't lie for the other guy. I'm now going to turn it over to CMPD, a great partner, on Captain Fishback.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Stephen Fishback. I currently serve as your captain over the Special Operations Division with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Thank you to our great partners with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the National Shooting Sports Foundation, as well as the Hyatt Gun Shop for hosting and partnering on this important effort. We have a shared mission: keeping firearms out of the hands of those who cannot legally possess them. Illegal firearms often end up being those guns used in homicides, robberies, shooting in occupied dwellings that are taking place and plaguing our city. Every illegal firearm recovered by our officers represents a tragedy, or tragedies, plural, that we were able to prevent. But it also represents a crime that never should have happened in the first place. In the first half of 2025, those first 2 quarters, your Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers seized 2,000 firearms. Let me say that again. In the first half of 2025, your Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers out there doing proactive work, productive investigations, seized 2,000 firearms off of our streets. Many of those firearms used in violent crimes across our city. So straw purchasing is not a victimless crime. I can tell you it directly contributes to the violent crime taking place in this city and this community. Doing a favor, what you perceive to be a favor for someone like this, can be a felony where you, the purchaser, ends up paying the price. Those firearms don't just disappear. They don't go to sit in somebody's gun safe, somebody's closet. I can tell you, those are the firearms that we end up seizing out there. Those are the firearms we see being used in violent crime. The message is simple. If you buy a firearm for someone who cannot legally own one, you're not helping them. You are committing a federal crime, and you could go to prison for it. We're asking the community, firearm retailers, and responsible firearm owners to remain alert and report suspicious activity and suspicious purchases. Share this message with family and friends. If someone you know asks you to buy a firearm for them, don't do it. Contact law enforcement. Provide us with that information. Public safety is a team effort. The police department cannot do it alone. We rely on the community. We rely on our friends and our partners in the media. We all have a role to play in preventing gun violence. Together, we can keep our neighborhoods safe and reduce the harm caused by illegal firearms. Thank you for your support. Thank you to our media partners in helping to get the message out there, for helping spread the message. Don't lie for the other guy. And I can tell you the people who spoke before me are much more intelligent than I am. They took most of my talking points. But what I can tell you is, I've been with the CMPD for 23 years. You know I live in this community. Over and over again, I have community members ask me, where do these juveniles get the guns? Where do these felons get the guns that are contributing to this violent crime? Straw purchasing is one of those ways that those guns are making their way out there on the street for criminals to do what they do. So thank you again for the support, and we'll open it up for questions at this time.
I don't know if it's for the ATF or the U.S. Attorney's Office, but what, like 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, 1 out of 50 are straw purchases? Do you guys have like any data on that, like on how prevalent it is, not just Charlotte, but maybe North Carolina or the country?
Thank you for that question, but no, I couldn't answer that. We don't keep those type of statistics. Just that we know straw purchasing is putting guns in the hands of people that should not possess firearms.
When you seize a gun, how do you know whether it was a straw purchase or a stolen firearm?
When we seize a gun, so we do this process where we will trace a gun, a crime gun that is seized in a crime. That will get us to the first person that purchased this firearm. And then it's just good old-fashioned police work to figure out how that gun got from a legal purchaser into the hands of a criminal.
Who is your typical offender? Is it a one-off, or is it someone who knows what they're doing when they line the form?
So you're specifically talking about a straw purchaser?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all kinds. Just like we were saying, it could be a sister, it could be a girlfriend, it could be a brother, it could be a neighbor. So whomever this person who does not want their name on the form can recruit to do this, they will recruit.
If I could just add to that. The reason why we have this program, this cooperative program, is because there are a lot of people that just don't know that that is a crime. They don't understand the consequences. They don't understand it's a federal crime to do this. So this awareness program we've done all over the country now for the last 25 years is really a strong public awareness to remind people, you know, you buy a gun for someone who can't, you buy yourself 15 years in prison. That's a message that we hope will resonate, and we believe it has resonated. So that's the real purpose behind this. The stats and the figures, you know, there's so many guns being run through background checks, it's hard to say what exactly the numbers are. But we know by getting out there, by putting up these billboards, by having these events, by having you folks cover this, it does prevent this because it puts information in the heads of some people that wouldn't ordinarily know.
One thing is a public campaign and education for people who may not know, but is there a more tangible solution, because it's still happening, that should be put in place or should be looked at?
For my part, making sure that this awareness is out there, and then working with our partners at ATF and the U.S. Attorney's Office to make sure these crimes are prosecuted, that sends a message, because the criminal network, that will get through their ranks as well. Hey, this is maybe not a good idea, or maybe we shouldn't be doing this because there's real teeth to this law. So that to me is, and I don't want to speak for my friends at the U.S. Attorney's Office, but that to me would be certainly something we would look forward to, make sure people get prosecuted, because this is a serious crime.
Have there been cases, I guess in your case, where members, retailers have just realized what a buyer is doing and said, wait, don't buy this for someone else? They caught it like in the actual sale of a gun?
Happens every day. That because of the education program that goes with ATF and what NSF has been doing, they have this instinctual understanding. They can spot the red flags. I mean, there have been people that have been so brazen as to walk in with a cell phone and say, that one? That's a huge red flag. Now people are maybe more sophisticated than that, but really these crimes are being prevented every single day thanks to this program, which is why we keep investing in it, and which is why Congress also invested in this program to make sure that the message is out there, it's loud and clear and unequivocal.
Russ, I have a question for you.
Yeah, of course.
We talked about this exact issue before.
Yeah.
How prevalent is it in your office? Are you seeing these cases? I know you said you're prosecuting them every day, but how often are they actually being charged and brought up to your office?
We're constantly charging this crime, and it's not always a standalone crime. Sometimes there's another crime with it, but we're constantly charging this crime. If you're using a straw purchaser to purchase a gun, there's a reason. And so when we're charging felon with a handgun, we're looking at why does that felon have that handgun? Where did they get it? And working with the ATF to find that straw purchaser. When we're seeing violent crime and gang violence on the streets, we're taking the guns. Now, as you and I have talked about, sometimes they're ghost guns or other things, but often they're straw purchaser guns. So it's a constant thing we're seeing in the violent crime we're investigating in our office.
Captain Fishback, in terms of, can you just walk us through the process? Because you said you seized 2,000 guns. You do the background, you find out that the gun's being held illegally by someone or someone who shouldn't have it. Walk us through the process from CMPD. Do you guys contact ATF? Do you go straight to the U.S. Attorney's Office? Can you just walk us through that process?
Sure, great question. The process for us, boots on the ground, you seize a firearm. When we turn that firearm in, we automatically do a trace form on it to do the background on that gun, and we collaborate with the ATF on that. And so that will tell us who all was in that history of firearm purchases regarding that gun. From there, we have a task force in place as well as a regular working relationship with the ATF. So if we find something awry with that firearm, we are in collaboration right off the bat with them, information sharing, make sure that case is handled appropriately with the resources of the federal government.
Captain, can you detail just really the challenges and hurdles when you guys run into crime incidents, homicide, shootings in any magnitude that really do have these straw purchases involved as well?
Sure. I mean, look, if these firearms weren't out there illegally, we wouldn't have some of these problems. That's a huge frustration for us. And that also brings up another point. You know, we're not here to address responsible, legal firearm owners. Oftentimes, those are some of our stronger stakeholders and partners out there. What we address are those illegally possessed firearms that are out there causing the problems that we see in our city.
Captain, you had mentioned 2,000 so far in 2025. Do you know how many of those came back as straw purchases?
That's data I don't have on hand, but we can definitely follow up with you, Hunter, following the press conference.
One or two more? Great question so far. One or two more before we wrap up? Great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much. Appreciate what you do.
You've done this before, huh?
Yeah.
Your team has been, these folks are really big too.
Thank you for organizing.
Thank you. We really appreciate you being
Yeah,
here.
once I get settled, next week I go to special
We are working
investigations.
hard. We're serious.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have a card?
I do not have a card. Do you have one? Because I could email you.
Great.
Yes.
No problem. It's exactly like that. So the right thing. She has to do it here.
Is anybody going live? Nobody's screening.
Okay, all right. We're going to take a photo.
Oh, great. Your advanced equipment up there.
That's all I need. Good.
Where do you want us?
All right, we're going to cut away from this. That was the final discussion that we will obviously have more on for you. And in fact, you can find more on that discussion over on WCNC.com or through our WCNC Charlotte mobile app. There has been a lot of discussion. And actually today, the president at the Kennedy Center, he is the chairman, obviously, of the Kennedy Center, speaking today, saying they're going to do away with the woke type of agenda that they've had at the Kennedy Center and going in a different direction. The president was speaking on and really talking more about the upcoming events that they will be hosting and having at the Kennedy Center. And in fact, it sounds like the president himself will be hosting the big event in the next couple of weeks. Let's go to this now, as this happened just a few hours ago.
Thank you very much. This is a very exciting project. We're going to do something that will go rapidly, relatively inexpensively, and will make it better than it ever was, frankly. It'll be something that people are going to be very proud of. Along with, in the bigger picture, a place called Washington, D.C. That is the bigger one, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But let's talk about right now the Kennedy Center, and I'm delighted to be here as we officially announce the incredibly talented artists who will be celebrated later this year at the 2025 Kennedy Center Honors. It's going to be a big evening. I've been asked to host. I said, I'm the President of the United States. Are you fools asking me to do that? Sir, you'll get much higher ratings. I said, I don't care. I'm President of the United States. I won't do it. They said, please. And then Susie Wells said to me, sir, I'd like you to host. I said, okay, Susie, I'll do it. That's the power she's got. But I just, so I have agreed to host. Do you believe what I have to do? And I didn't want to do it, okay? They're going to say, he insisted. I did not insist. But I think it will be quite successful, actually. It's been a long time. I used to host the Apprentice finales, and we did rather well with that. So I think we're going to do very well because we have some great honorees, some really great ones. Since 1978, the Kennedy Center Honors have been among the most prestigious awards in the performing arts. I wanted one. I was never able to get one. This year, it's true, actually. I would have taken it if they would have called me. I waited and waited and waited, and I said, the hell with it. I'll become chairman, and I'll give myself an honor. Maybe I'm going to honor, next year we'll honor Trump, okay? This year, the board has selected a truly exceptional class of honorees. I mean, really exceptional. First is country music star, actor, and producer George Strait. Great. Over an extraordinary 4-decade career, George has sold more than 120 million records worldwide, amassed 60 #1 hits, wow, and produced 33 platinum certified albums, more than any other living American. That is amazing. He's believed by millions of people to just be as good as you can get, and he's beloved by hundreds of millions of people all over the world. He's really something, and they call him the king of country, and we know him very well, George Strait. Okay, please. Oh, and it looks nice. You're a good-looking guy. I hope he still looks like that. Second is actor, singer, philanthropist, and star of the Broadway stage. One of my favorite talents. I think he's one of the greatest talents I've ever actually seen. I've always said, and just so we don't get in trouble, I'll say among the greatest artists in the world are the Broadway London actors back and forth. That's all they want to do is they want to do Broadway and they want to do London. They want to do 8 shows a week, including matinee on Wednesday. And if you said make a movie, they can't even think about it. If you say go on television, they don't want to. All they want to do is be on the stage, the live stage, and it's amazing. But I've always said that the most talented people, and this man may be the most of all. Michael Crawford is being honored. Michael was born in England in 1942. He made his Broadway debut in 1967. I was there. I shouldn't say that, but I was there. It seems like a long time ago. And he became an international sensation in the 1980s for his original portrayal of the Phantom of the Opera, one of the greatest ever, 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 ever. You don't see him like that very often. Winning him the esteemed Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical. He's won so many awards. Michael is truly a generational talent, had a voice that was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. There's never, I don't know, it's Luciano Pavarotti had a very different voice. The power was incredible, magnificent. Michael had a different kind of a voice. These are just unbelievable talents. But Michael is very special and one of the greatest roles in the history of Broadway. And nobody did it like him. Michael Crawford, thank you very much. Great guy. Next, we look forward to honoring 3-time Oscar nominee, Golden Globe Award winner, an action movie icon, and a friend of mine. He's a very unique man. He's somebody that doesn't do these things. I said, I wonder if he'll accept, because some people don't really want to be honored. They don't care. But he was very honored to be honored, I will tell you. He's a very special guy. A real talent, never been given the credit for the talent. There was nobody else could have done the roles that he did like he did. I'm not even close, and they've tried, and they didn't work out too well. His name is Sylvester Stallone. So it's very few, almost, if any, people that could have taken a name and made it so incredible, like Rocky, Rambo, Creed, and others. But think of it, Rocky, Rambo, if you did one, you're good. You do two. And I'll never forget, I was a young guy, and I went to see a thing called Rambo, and it had just come out. I didn't know anything about it, but I was in a movie theater, like we used to go to movie theaters a lot. And I said, this movie is phenomenal. What the heck? And that turned out to be a monster. Rocky is Rocky. I mean, the way that happened, you know, Sly had no money, nothing, and he went around, and everybody wants to do a boxing movie. It's the most, you know, probably more than any other type of character, boxing, always boxing. It's so great. and there's rarely been anything like this one. John Voight did a great one, as you know. Champ, great. I think that was right there, too. John Voight's a phenomenal person, phenomenal actor. But Sly came in and he had no money. He wrote a script along with thousands of other people writing scripts on a boxer. And for some reason, a studio picked up this and liked it. And Sly he's in an old car that he came in from Brooklyn or someplace in New York, but I think Brooklyn. It barely made it to California. He was sleeping in the car. I mean, he had nothing. And he wanted control over who the actor was going to be, because he said it can't be successful if you're going to pick a movie actor with a bad build, okay? A nice face, but a bad body. And he said, I can't have these guys, because he's a tough cookie, and he knew exactly what it took. He knew what a boxer's body was. So they brought him one, and I won't tell you who it was, but it was a big name, but the chest wasn't exactly what you need. One shot, and your heart would pop out. That wasn't too good. Then he did another one. He was fat, sloppy, but had a good face. Then he did another one, and another one, and another one. And he turned it down. He wouldn't take $1 million. He wouldn't do it. And it turned out that when they saw him, they said, you know, you'd be actually pretty good for this role. And he had never done this before, anything like it. But think of it, he turned down $1 million. He had nothing. He refused to let somebody else play. He didn't want to play it. He wasn't originally, he did it as a writer. But he ended up playing it because he couldn't find anybody else that fit the role. And who knew what would have happened? He's become a legend of the silver screen, a true legend, and he's a great guy. He's a little bit tough, a little bit different, I will tell you. He's a little tough guy. But he's a phenomenal person with a phenomenal wife and family. Incredible wife, incredible family. His film's grossing more than $7.5 billion, which is either a record or very close to it. I can't imagine anybody doing more. If you add up Rambo and Rocky and these others, I can't imagine anybody doing much more. 7.5 billion worldwide over the course of 6 decades. And Sly is a pillar of the really American pop culture and a Hollywood superstar like few others, and one of the biggest names on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In fact, the only one that's a bigger name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, they say, is a guy named Donald Trump. I'm on the Hollywood Walk of Fame too, if you can believe that one. But he's amazing. He's really amazing. And he's actually a great actor. Fourth will be together celebrating one of the most revered singers of the American disco era, Gloria Gaynor. Best known for her chart-topping 1978 hit, I Will Survive. Gloria won the 1980 Grammy for Best Disco Recording, and her song was inducted into the National Recording Registry in 2016. 4 decades later, Gloria won a second Grammy in 2020 for her gospel album Testimony, which is incredible. Truly a historic achievement, not only in terms of the years that have gone by to be great that long, but to have the two top of anything in that span of time, and with that kind of period between, is pretty amazing. But I will say that I Will Survive is an unbelievable song. I've heard it, you know, like everyone else here, thousands of times. And it's one of those few that get better every time you hear it. And nobody can sing it like her. And that's an honor. So, Gloria Gaynor, thank you. Thank you very much. And finally, we'll be honoring one of the greatest rock bands of all time, KISS. So KISS was formed in 1973 in New York City by founding band members, and incredible people, by the way, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss. Kiss became a global phenomenon, sold more than 100 million records worldwide, and produced 30 gold albums and lots of other things they produced. They made a fortune. And they're great people, and they deserve it, and they work hard, and they're still working hard, and it's an honor to present Kiss. Thank you very much. Got it? Yeah. Thank you. And they're going to do something very special. Kiss is going to be here on a little bit before the show. I think they're going to do something very special. We're going to have a good time. The 48th Kennedy Center honorees are outstanding people, standing group, incredible. We can't wait to celebrate the Kennedy Center honors. It'll be in December. It'll be on CBS. In a few short months since I became chairman of the board at the Kennedy Center, we have completely reversed the decline of this cherished national institution. It was being run down. Money wasn't being spent properly. They were building things they shouldn't have built that nobody wanted instead of taking care of the great gem that it is. You look at the marble, look at the quality of the marble and the things that with a little fix-up and a little work, we can make it unbelievable. These columns, when you see them the next time, they'll be magnificent. I mean, we have some great plans for this. The bones are so good. The bones of a building. If you don't have the bones, you might as well forget it. I'm working in another building, a thing called the White House. We're fixing it up so beautifully. It needed it. It's been many, many years since it's been properly taken care of. It's incredible. One of the great places of the world. Maybe, I mean, truly, to me, is there anything else even close? But we're doing that and doing some other things, and we're going to also fix up a place called Washington, D.C. We're going to make it so beautiful again. We're going to be redoing the parks, redoing the grass. You know, grass is a lifetime like people have a lifetime. And the lifetime of this grass has long been gone when you look at the parks where the grass is old, tired, exhausted. We're going to redo the grass with the finest grasses. I know a lot about grass because I own a lot of golf courses, and if you don't have good grass, you're not in business very long, Lindsey Graham. By the way, you have very good poll numbers, Lindsey. I just saw. Congratulations. But a few short months ago, I became chairman of the Kennedy Center, and we completely reversed it. We reversed what was happening. We ended the woke political programming, and we're restoring the Kennedy Center as the premier venue for performing arts anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. This has the potential to be anywhere in the world. We're going to make it something that people can't even believe. We have some unbelievable plans, and ultimately it's about the talent you get, though. You know, you can have a beautiful building, you can have nice marble walls, you can have nicely done columns, as I was saying, but if you don't have the talent on the stage, and we're going to get the best talent in the world. To that end, the world-renowned musical Les Mis had a phenomenal 5-week sold-out run this summer, beat projected revenues by 35%. And we've raised over $10 million in private funds from a lot of generous donors, and we closed the $26 million budget shortfall that they had before we got here. And with the help of Congress, we secured the critical funding necessary to rebuild the building, and we're going to get all brand new, highest level seats, magnificent seats, and it's going to be all new. We could have taken the existing ones and do a little paint job, a little fabric, but it's not the same thing. So we'll be taking out next season. All of the seats will be taken out. The room is being completely rebuilt. And I just want to thank the Republicans in the Senate, headed by Lindsey in that case. Lindsey was she's a big fan of this building. And they got a record $257 million that's going to go toward renovations that building really needs, and all of the exterior is going to be incredible. It's going to be exciting. So I thank you very much, and thank all of your Republican senators. I don't think we had too many Democrat votes, probably. You never have. We don't have Democrats voting even for crime. But I shouldn't make this political, because they made the Academy Awards political and they went down the tubes. So they'll say, Trump made it political, but I think if we make it our kind of political, we'll go up, okay? Let's see if I'm right about that. But I want to thank the executive director for an incredible job. He's done great. He's been with me for just about the beginning, and everything he's touched has been good. He was on high intelligence. He worked in low intelligence and high intelligence. He did better with the high intelligent people. But he's been fantastic. He's the executive director, Rick Grinnell, for his work. Thank you very much, Rick. Unbelievable job. And as well as Lindsey and all the people that helped us in Congress, I want to thank, and the Senate has been incredible. By the way, Leader Thune has been unbelievable, and Speaker Mike Johnson. These are great people. What we're doing with the great big beautiful bill is you're going to see a whole different country. You're seeing it already. We're coming in where the trillions of dollars is coming in from tariffs from all over the world, from countries that took advantage of our country. They thought we were children. They took advantage of us for decades, and now the money is flowing to us, and we've become the hottest country anywhere in the world. But the Kennedy Center board members, many of whom I knew, and many of whom I put on the board, and it's as good a board as I've ever seen. And on the board also, and some people that are doing an incredible job. One in particular is Attorney General Pam Bondi. The job she's doing is incredible. Thank you very much. Long beyond the Kennedy Center. The Kennedy Center is the easy part. She's incredible, and you're going to see a big change in Washington crime stats very soon. Not the stats that they gave, because they turned out to be a total fraud. The real stats, the stats went through the roof. You know, they had a man that was forced to put up stats like they were doing better. They're not doing better. Crime is the worst it's ever been, but it started as of about yesterday. You see a big change, and people are feeling safe already. I've had so many calls, thank you, sir, thank you. They were afraid to walk out. They're not afraid anymore. And this will be like the border. We started off with millions and millions of people coming in from all over the world, gang members and people from jails. They were unloading their jails into our country. All over the world they were coming, drug dealers. They came from Africa, they came from Asia, they came from South America, Venezuela in particular. They were coming in, Trinidad, Aragua, and the toughest people you've ever seen. And by the millions, and for the last 3 months, we had 0, 0, and 0. We had 0 people come in for 3 months. They respect our country again. That's the other thing. All over the world, our country is respected again. So I also want to thank the Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, who's fantastic. She's done an incredible job. And Sergio Gore for the job he's done with personnel. Thank you very much, Sergio. Fantastic. In the coming months, we'll fully renovate the dated and the infrastructure of the building and make the Kennedy Center a crown jewel of American arts and culture once again. I think we'll bring it to a higher level than it ever hit. Actually, it hit a certain level, but we're going to bring it to a higher level than it ever hit. We have the right location, and soon we will be a crime-free area. This is going to be a crime-free area, by the way. You'll be able to go out. People tell me they can't run anymore. They're just afraid. And they'll be running again. We're going to have a crime-free. It's a big statement, because if one thing happens all year, Pam, you better be good, because they'll say Trump did not fulfill this. One person gets a little injured by somebody, they'll say Trump did not fulfill his promise. No, we're going to be essentially crime-free. This is going to be a beacon, and it's going to also serve as an example of what can be done. We have to get rid of this cashless bail nonsense. If you look at New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, which is so badly run. Los Angeles, they can't get the houses. They can't get the people their permits to build their houses. They're trying to rebuild their houses from the ridiculous fire that should have never allowed to have taken place. They should have had the water coming down from the Pacific Northwest, but they didn't do that. But they can't get the permits for the people that want to build their houses. But I want to thank Lee Zeldin, because the federal government has gotten all of their permits, which are much more difficult permits, actually, and had them literally within 30 days after the fire, everybody had their permit. But you don't have the city and state permits. They got to get going. The governor and the mayor have to get going. It will just be a matter of time that we're going to do something that's going to be incredible. We're going to use the Kennedy Center as a big focus of it, and that's the 250th anniversary celebration that we're having. So it's 250 years. So we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, and we have the 250th anniversary celebration, all in this administration, and it's an honor that we were able to not be allowed to do what we were illegally and what we were supposed to do, and that was we had a great election in 2020. We won the election by a lot, but it was a rigged election, and we had to wait 4 years, and we waited 4 years, and it's interesting because I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. I can't claim that I got the 250th. That one's a big one, but I happen to be here. But I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I said the shame of it is that I'm not going to be president when it happens. And lo and behold, look what happens. We have some bad things took place, and now I'm going to be president for the Olympics. I'll be president for the World Cup, and the 250th is going to be maybe more exciting than both. It's a great celebration of our country. We're going to be using this building for a lot of the celebration having to do with 250 years. But as I said earlier, I'm determined to make Washington, D.C. safe, clean, and beautiful again. It's going to take place very rapidly. Be prepared. And a big part of that's going to include the Kennedy Center. So thank you very much. And I want to thank everybody for helping us. This is mostly the group right here they're young, they're smart, they're ambitious, they want my job. Someday one of them will probably have it. But we have a great group of people that are putting this together, and they're also helping us with Washington, D.C. We're going to make Washington beautiful. We're going to redo roads. We're going to redo the medians, the pavers, and the medians all throughout the city. We're going to take all the graffiti off. We're going to have to remove the tents and the people that are living in our parks. We're going to be redoing the parks, the grasses and all. We're going to be going to Congress for a relatively small amount of money, and Lindsey and the Republicans are going to be approving it. I don't know about the Democrats. They don't approve anything. It's amazing. It's like they just don't want to vote for anything. They've got the yips. You know, in golf they say the yips. The Democrats are afraid to do anything because they don't want to be criticized. But fighting crime is a good thing. We have to explain. We're going to fight crime. That's a good thing. Already they're saying, he's a dictator. The place is going to hell, and we've got to stop it. So instead of saying he's a dictator, they should say, we're going to join him and make Washington safe. But they say, he's a dictator. And then they end up getting mugged, and but the stats are very bad. But we're going to, I think we'll actually get Democrat support. I really believe they can't do this one too. It's, they talk about 80-20 issues, but I think many of those 80-20 issues, like men and women's sports, I think it's 97-3, not 80-20. And I think crime is maybe 100-0. So I think we may get very well some Democrat support, but I hope so. But even if we don't, we have the majority, so we're going to vote it in as Republicans, and we're going to do something. And that's going to serve as a beacon for New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and other places all over the country. Our whole country is going to be so different and so great. It's going to be clean and safe and beautiful, and people are going to love our flag more than they've ever loved it, and we're going to do a great job. So I want to congratulate all the nominees. They're unbelievable people, and we're going to have a tremendous day in December, and that evening is going to be special, some really special people and real talent. Do you have any questions? Yes, please.
Hi, sir. There's new reporting that the Russians have hacked into some computer systems that manage U.S. federal court documents. I wonder if you've seen this reporting and if you plan to bring it up with Putin when you see him later in the week.
I guess I could. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? They hack in. That's what they do. They're good at it. We're good at it. We're actually better at it. But no, I have heard about it. I have heard about it.
Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned congressional Democrats. You have not yet met with Democratic leadership, but there's a funding deadline at the end of September. Do you plan to meet with Leader Schumer and Leader Jeffries to discuss that situation?
Well, I will, I guess, but it's almost a waste of time to meet because they never approve anything. If we want money to fight crime, if we want money to do only good things, just good things. And let's not even talk about controversial. They don't want to meet about anything. They really are. They're stuck. They don't know what to do. They have probably more, I would say more than half are sane, but they are led by insane people. And the kind of things that they're pushing are not something. We have a communist running for the mayor of New York, and I wish him well. I may have to deal with him. I mean, it's not even conceivable. It's not even conceivable that could happen. And maybe he won't win, but he won the primaries by quite a bit. You know, shockingly, he won the primaries. So, and you see some of the people supporting him that truly don't believe what he's espousing. So, I mean, we will meet, but nothing's going to come out of the meeting. But here's the advantage we have is that we just passed the great big beautiful bill that had all the biggest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. Think of it. Think of that for the seniors. No tax on overtime. And all sorts of things. You go out, buy a car, you can deduct the interest payment. If you borrow money, you can deduct the interest payment from your taxes. So many things, but the biggest thing is, from a business standpoint, deductions. You know, that was tremendous. It's going to, our country is roaring. Our businesses are, you're going to see some numbers in 12 months when these factories are open. You know, we're opening up factories all over the world, all over the country, but that's all spreading to, I think we're spreading the wealth all over the world, if you want to know the truth. But we're opening them in this country at a level that we've never seen before. We've never seen. So they just don't want to prove anything. They just, we meet with them and they say, as Nancy Reagan said, just say no. They go, oh, just say no. They're afraid to approve anything. If we say, we want to stop crime in this country, or as an example, bail, we want to make it so that people, if they murder somebody, they're in jail. They don't get out on no bail. They say, we don't want that. We want people to murder somebody and they immediately are released and they go out and murder somebody else. It's a big problem, a tremendous problem. By the way, we're going to go for statutes in D.C. and then ultimately for the rest of the country where that's not going to be allowed. Because it was when they did the cashless bail thing that the numbers really started going up. In this city, in New York, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, no matter where they have it, the numbers went through the roof. So we're going to meet with them, of course. I'd like to meet with them. We're going to tell them all these good things, and they're going to tell us no. And then we're going to go out and we're going to vote it in by the Republicans, because I don't believe that anybody is capable of making a deal with these people. They have gone crazy. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Your federalization of the police has a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. Are you talking to Congress about extending it, or do you believe 30 days is sufficient?
Well, if it's a national emergency, we can do it without Congress, but we expect to be to Congress before Congress very quickly. And again, we think the Democrats will not do anything to stop crime, but we think the Republicans will do it almost unanimously. So we're going to need a crime bill that we're going to be putting in. And it's going to pertain initially to D.C. We're going to use it as a very positive example. And we're going to be asking for extensions on that, long-term extensions, because you can't have 30 days. 30 days that's by the time you do it. We're going to have this in good shape. And don't forget, in the border, everyone said it would take years and you'd have to go back to Congress. I never went to Congress for anything. I just said, close the border. And they closed the border. And that was the end of it. I didn't go back to Congress. We're going to do this very quickly, but we're going to want extensions. I don't want to call national emergency. If I have to, I will. But I think the Republicans in Congress will approve this pretty much unanimously. Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would you encourage members of the press to do ride-alongs with the D.C. police to understand how serious this crime issue is?
It's okay to me if they want to do it. We're going to work with the D.C. police. A lot of very good people in there. Not all, but a lot are very good, very, very professional. And, you know, we have a big force. I think they said 3,500. You know, they're always asking the mayor, who's a very nice woman, but got to do the job. You know, we've worked with the mayor for 6 months, and she's been here for many years. And the numbers are worse than they ever are. Don't let anyone tell you they're not. And the whole statistical charts that they made, the whole thing is a rigged deal. They got rid of the guy because he didn't want to do the numbers the way they wanted to, and they put their own numbers out. They said it's the best in 20 years. No, it's the worst in 20 years. But we're going to have, we're going to be very open about what we're doing. So if the media wants to ride with police, if they want to do it, if they feel that would be okay. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Sir, with President Zelensky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mary Margaret with Daily Wire. 2 questions on D.C., if that's okay. How do you feel about Mayor Bowser's level of cooperation and her choosing to advocate for D.C. statehood right now? And
well, the statehood, let me do that one first. Statehood is ridiculous. We want to straighten the place out. Statehood's ridiculous. It's unacceptable. It's the Democrats want it because the Democrats have, you know, about 95% in this little area. Even I didn't get it very much. They want that. They want to pick up 2 senators, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's the least of the reasons why, by the way, but that's one of the reasons why. What we want to do is make Washington, D.C., the greatest, most beautiful, safest capital anywhere in the world, and that's going to happen. I mentioned the word bones before. The bones here, the bones, we have the greatest bones. When you look at that Supreme Court building, I think it's one of the most beautiful buildings. When you look at some of the buildings here, it's so magnificent, and everything's good, but it's just dirty and not properly maintained. It's not taken care of. Potholes in the roads. All of it's going to happen very quickly. We're going to seek a relatively small amount of money for fix-up, and we're going to put it out to bid. We have great contractors here, great road builders, everything, and we're not ripping roads apart so they're closed for 4 years as they redo the concrete bases, and you don't need that. We need a beautiful topping by a very talented asphalt-type person, somebody that does the job. We go out, you know, when I get contractors, I use great contractors. To me, a great contractor is a very special, like a great surgeon, like a great teacher, like a great contractor is very important. We'll only use the best. And when you put a coat of asphalt on that 2 inches of asphalt, 3 inches of asphalt, it looks brand new. You take all the garbage off. They reseed it, as we call it, or different names, but they take the bad stuff off and they put the good stuff down. It takes not a long period of time. A matter of a few days, you'll have a beautiful, magnificent road. You fix up the curbs. You get rid of the medians in this town are just horrible. You know, you're riding around, I think to myself, leaders come from foreign countries. You see, with leaders all the time. Different leaders. They came in from India recently and from everywhere. They came in from a war that we just ended, Azerbaijan, and you know that, and Armenia. We just ended the war. The troops came in. One of them said, "My country looks better. The roads are better than, you know, we were talking about." I said, "What do you think?" He said, "Well, the roads are better in Armenia than they are in Washington, D.C. It's embarrassing." And I was asked at the last press conference, they said to me, "How important is it? You're doing world peace. We're going to on Friday to Alaska, meeting with President Putin, Russia. How important it is that the capital is important?" I said, "Very, very important." I told my father, said to me, "When you see a restaurant and you want to go and you want to have dinner, and then you go up to the front door and it's dirty, turn around and go back because the kitchen's dirty." It's the same thing with the capital of the United States of America. If it's dirty and unsafe, it sets a bad tone for the rest of the world. So we're not going to do that. We're going to have this capital fixed up, safe, clean, and beautiful in a very short period of time. Go ahead, please. In the back? Yeah, please.
Yes, Mr. President, how were your calls this morning with European leaders, and was it your call not to invite President Zelensky to your meeting with Putin?
No, just the opposite. No. We had a very good call. He was on the call. President Zelensky was on the call. I would rate it a 10, you know, very, very friendly. I know the leaders because I was at NATO, as you know. I took it from 2% to 5%, 2% that wasn't paid, 5% that is paid, which is trillions of dollars in defense capability. No, it was always going to be, I was going to meet with President Putin, and then after that, I'm going to call the leaders and President Zelensky. I'm going to call President Zelensky, and then I'll call, probably in that order, the leaders. There's a very good chance that we're going to have a second meeting, which will be more productive than the first, because the first is I'm going to find out where we are and what we're doing. Again, this is Biden's war. This isn't my war. He got us into this thing, and it should have never happened. This war would have never happened if I were president. But it is what it is, and I'm here to fix it, and I'm here to stop 6,000, 7,000 people last week. 7,213 people last week were killed, mostly soldiers. But missiles being lobbed into towns don't exactly help either, but mostly soldiers. And Ukrainian and Russian, they're not American soldiers, but you know, if we can save a lot of lives, it would be a great thing. I've stopped 5 wars in the last 6 months. And on top of that, we wiped out the nuclear capability of Iran, obliterated it. It's turned out to be a correct word, by the way, because, you know, some of the press said, well, maybe it wasn't obliteration. It was obliteration. We're going to meet with, I would say, the second meeting. If the first one goes okay, we'll have a quick second one. I would like to do it almost immediately. And we'll have a quick second meeting between President Putin and President Zelensky and myself, if they'd like to have me there. And that would be a meeting where maybe it could be absolutely work. But the first meeting will not work that out. Certain great things can be gained in the first. It's going to be a very important meeting. But it's setting the table for the second meeting. I think the second meeting, if the second meeting takes place, now there may be no second meeting, because if I feel that it's not appropriate to have it because I didn't get the answers that we have to have, then we're not going to have a second meeting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I didn't ask you. Go ahead, please, address.
I just wanted to ask you, thank you, Mr. President. How involved were you in the selection process of these honorees?
I would say I was about 98% involved. No, they all went through me. They came over, Rick and Sergio and everybody. They said, I turned down plenty. They were too woke. I had a couple of wokesters. No, we have great people. This is very different than it used to be. Very different. These are great people, and they're not. I don't have any idea of the Republican, because I want people that. The Kennedy Center has everything. Look at the Academy Awards. It gets lousy ratings now. It's all woke. All they do is talk about how much they hate Trump. But nobody likes that. They don't watch anymore. That used to have 45 million people watching. I remember The Apprentice, first season. The Apprentice had 42 million people. The Academy Awards had 41 million people. We were the second show to the Super Bowl. But since then, the Academy Awards have gone down to, I think they've gone down to numbers that are like a regular show, because it went woke. We're not doing it for that reason. We're doing it because we want the great talent. But these are great people. So I was just a very long answer, but I was very involved.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Biden administration was auctioning off border wall materials, but we're hearing now that the auctioneer is selling those materials back. Are you finishing building the wall?
Well, I built hundreds of miles of wall, and I was getting very close. I actually finished the wall, but then I added another 200 miles, because when you do the original wall that I said I was going to build, which I got built, and I got it to the specifications of the Border Patrol and ICE, the exact. They wanted steel, they wanted concrete inside, they wanted rebar inside that, they wanted it to have wires. The walls are wired for, you know, all of the internet stuff and security things. And we built it hundreds of miles. We did great. That's one of the reasons, even now, we're able to have such good numbers at zero, or essentially very little people coming in. But Biden, I ordered for another 200 miles. I was going to do another 200 because it's the way it is. And we're all set to do it. Then we had the bad election result, the horrible, what happened to our country, what they've allowed to happen to our country. And we are taking now that wall back. They sold the wall. Now, this is expensive stuff. Hardened steel, very expensive. 9,000-pound concrete and rebar. Rebar is very expensive, the hardest rebar. No, it's very hard to cut. You have different materials. It's very hard to cut because they cut it down if they can. It's very hard to cut. And Biden sold it for pennies on the dollar, 3 cents on the dollar, 4 cents on the dollar. He sold it. And I said, these guys really don't want it. That was when I first realized, when I saw the wall was being put up, because we could have finished the rest of the wall in about 4 weeks, anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. It was all set to go. It was laying down, ready to be put up. The foundations were, and they took over, and they said, we're going to sell the wall. And they sold it, as you know, for pennies on the dollar. Well, Pam Bondi's been working very hard on suing that company, and I think they reached a settlement where we're taking the wall back. But they stole the wall from us. That wall is so expensive to build, and we had it, as you know, hundreds of miles of it, and they came along and they basically sold it for scrap. And what a shame that is. But that was when I first realized that these people actually want to have open borders. And no country has open. Who has it? Poor countries don't have open borders. No, we had open borders where people just walked in. It didn't matter what they looked like, who they were. They could have. We had 11,888 murderers, half of whom killed more than one person. They, I mean, literally, killed more than one person. And this is who we took into our country. So the wall is the least of it, but we're going to take the wall back. We're paying a small amount of money, as I understand it, to get it back, to get rid of the litigation. We'll take it back. We'll put it up. Yeah. Go ahead in the back, please.
Stay right there. I want to take it back to the Kennedy Center, if I can, just for a second, Mr. President.
Sure.
From what I understand, the Les Mis show exceeded everyone's expectations. Attendance, revenue, across the board.
That's great.
Do you anticipate future shows to basically do the same?
I like that guy. Now, that's called a question, okay? And he's a great reporter, actually. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it did great. Les Mis did great, broke records, and was sold out and beautiful. And we anticipate a lot of that happening. There's a thirst for it. And especially when the crime is knocked out. You know, when we knock out crime, some people probably stay away from places like restaurants and other things. It ruins your whole fabric. It ruins your country. And when somebody thinks they have about a 25% chance of getting mugged, they say, let's not go to restaurants tonight. We're going to make it so that they have no chance of getting mugged. And it's going to happen soon. And yeah, we think we're going to have a lot of very successful evenings here. Please.
Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
There will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes. Yeah, please.
Can I ask you a question about the Fed?
Right next to you, please, yeah.
About the Federal Reserve.
Oh, Federal Reserve, my favorite.
Yes,
Too late.
you're
He's too late.
You're considering suing Jay Powell. Can you update us on your thought that and tell us where you are in your search for a new chair?
Well, he took a building that could have been painted and fixed, like we're going to fix this building for very little money. And that was in better shape. He took a building and what they did to that building, they built a basement under the building. It didn't have a basement. This is simple to understand. The building is right next to a thing called the Potomac River, the beautiful Potomac River. That means lots of water. And the water is right under the building. And they decided to build a basement under the building in the Potomac River. So in order to do that, you need the biggest pumps that God ever created. And they were pumping their hearts out, but as big as those pumps are, you can't pump it fast enough because it's the Potomac River. If the pump were bigger than this room, you couldn't pump it. But they tried, and they've been building a basement. And I said, why did you want to build a basement? I thought it would be a good idea, sir. A basement is the least valuable floor in a building. I know a lot about real estate. The least valuable thing is the basement. And you don't build a basement under a building that is 2 feet above the river that's right next door. You know, it's right near the river. People don't realize the river's right out their window. And that's the beginning. They did it. just a terrible job. Instead of I could take a ceiling like this, they'd rip out the ceiling because they see a crack. Let's rip out the ceiling. And I would fix the crack, and I would paint the ceiling. And under the ceiling, they put the most incredible protective material. They go out by 3/4 inch, brand new, gorgeous 3/4 inch plywood and sheetrock, hardened sheetrock. And they had it all over the building, so if a little piece of flake came down. But the problem is when they took the ceiling down and it would hit, they spent millions of dollars on protective material that you didn't have to spend anything. He could have done that job for $25 million, and they spent $3.1 billion. He said 2.7, but it's really 3.1. They just don't want to include one of the buildings in the deal. But it's going to be much more than that. And I think he'll be long gone by the time it finishes because they've got a long way to go. And then I hear they want to hire 3,000 economists. What are they going to do? And he got it all wrong. He's too late. We call him Jerome Too Late Powell. It will live with him forever. I believe that name will live with him forever, along with the name Pocahontas and some of the others that he worked closely with Pocahontas, by the way. She's another beauty. But we have a real problem there. They're way over budget, and they did a job that shouldn't have been done. It was unnecessary to be done. Instead of, I could have gotten the greatest wallpaper anywhere in the world from the finest stores in the world. I could have fixed up a wall a little bit. It would have taken about 2 hours, and covered it with the most magnificent silk and most magnificent paper for thousands of dollars as opposed to tens of millions of dollars. What a shame it is that they did. But they would take down areas of the building that shouldn't have been taken down. They could have literally been painted, and they didn't do that. So they've got a long way to go. And I think it's just grossly incompetent, but not quite as incompetent as his decision not to do interest rates, take down interest rates, because just like they shouldn't have taken down a ceiling, they should take down interest rates. Every point costs us $360 billion a year. Think of that, $360 billion for 1 point. And we should be down at 1% because we're the leader of the world. We were always the lowest interest rate until like a certain time ago, decade, couple. But we were always, because we were the United States of America. So even if the country was run badly, we were considered like to be super prime. And now he's got us in a bad place. So we're paying $360 billion a year for each point. Now, I believe we should be 3 or 4 points lower. So that's over $1 trillion we pay every year in interest. And it's really just a paper calculation. You sign a document and you save almost $1 trillion because that number equates very much to the bonds that we have to buy. But despite that, we're powering through it, and we have the greatest economy maybe we've ever had. But the housing sector, people aren't able to get good mortgages. They're paying too much because of Jerome Too Late Powell. He's truly incompetent. And we'll be making another, we put a very good man in temporarily in the one spot because one of the people that was appointed by the Democrats left early. And I heard left because that person wanted lower interest rates. And I heard quit, but I have no idea. I'm sure she won't say that. I'll be naming a new chairman sometime within the next, I think I'll name it a little bit early, the new chairman. I'm down to 3 or 4 names, all good, all great. The problem is you name them and then they turn out to be not good. That's happened to me a couple of times. You name somebody, they tell you everything you want to hear, and then they go in and they turn out to be not good. I mean, he told me everything that I thought was appropriate. He turned out to be a stiff, you know, real stiff. But other than that, I think he's doing a very good job, yes. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 more. 1 or 2 more. Yes, sir, please. Go ahead.
Mr. President.
Looks like Scott Bessent. Are you the Treasury Secretary?
You don't want me for Treasury.
I don't know. You look like you could do a good job. Go ahead.
I keep my family budget okay. Sir, when you meet with Vladimir Putin Friday in Alaska,
yeah,
do you believe you can convince him to stop targeting civilians in Ukraine?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've had that conversation with him, I've had a lot of good conversations with him. Then I go home and I see that a rocket hit a nursing home or a rocket hit an apartment building and people are laying dead in the street. So I guess the answer to that is no, because I've had this conversation. I want to end the war. It's Biden's war, but I want to end it. I'll be very proud to end this war along with the 5 other wars I ended. But I guess the answer to that is probably no, because I would have had a good conversation with Vladimir. I knew him very well. I got along with him great, actually. We had I had to go through the Russia hoax. And it was actually, it was a strain on the relationship. I actually told him, I said, you know, they got this phony investigation going on, Russia, totally phony, created by Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, and Hillary Clinton and the whole group of them. And it made it very dangerous for our country because I was unable to really deal with Russia the way we should have been. I'm looking at Pam because I hope something's going to be done about it. These people put our country at great danger. And Adam Schiff, it was all made up. It was a hoax. The Mueller report came out. They all hated me. They had 18 Trump haters. And they said I did nothing wrong. They couldn't believe, they couldn't find anything after years of investigation. It was all a hoax. It was a hoax created by the Democrats, but in particular Schiff and Crooked Hillary, the whole group. And now we've learned all the stuff that's come out over the last 2 months is incredible through intelligence. And hopefully something's going to happen with it. These are people that put our country in danger, in real danger. I want to thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, ended it more abruptly than we expected, but there you have it. The full slate of the Kennedy Center events should be up and running, and it sounds like things, we'll have to see how things go and more about what the president will be doing when he hosts the event there at the Kennedy Center. Today, we do know that, and we were live for you this morning. Ben Thompson was in our early morning hours in Gaston County, where students and staff started the first day of school. We actually were able to speak one-on-one with Gaston County Schools, the superintendent. So let's go to this. This happened a little bit earlier today. Ben Thompson.
Joining me now to talk a little bit more about this first day, Superintendent Morgan Houchard. Superintendent, good to see you again.
Good morning.
All right, so so far so good here for the district.
Yes, sir. We are excited to get students back on campus. Teachers have been working all summer, administrative team, as well as faculty, grounds, transportation, and school nutrition. So we are excited about this day.
You told me just off camera a second ago, a lot goes into making sure this day goes off smoothly.
Yes, sir. We actually started the first day at the end of last year to work on our plans, procedures, and protocols and training, and it all builds up, of course, to this day.
We're outside Sherwood Elementary School, and this has been named an innovation school, and this is something new. Explain to me what that means.
So we last year identified 10 of our low-performing schools, and we have phrased them as innovative schools. Last year we started with leadership, and that involved training, high-quality training and development of our leaders to get the right leaders in the right place at these schools. That was year one. We're now in year two, which starts and focuses on the classroom, and it started this summer with training. We've been able to hire high-quality coaches to help develop lesson plans and strategies for this year, so that the real focus is on that teaching and learning that goes on in the classroom every day.
So what are the tangibles that students or parents might notice that are going to be different?
Right, so that focus on the instruction, that focus on the standards and student achievement in the classroom. We are trying to build this. It will be a replicable model that once we are successful in our 10 schools, we can then roll this out to other schools in the district.
Let me ask you the hard question. What barometer, what metric can parents hold you guys to as far as this being a success or not?
Yeah, so I think they will hopefully collaborate with us on the success of their students, of their children and our students, and you will see academic gains and achievement. So one of our metrics is 1 year of school to have at least 1 year of progress academically.
Last I spoke to you was about a week ago over at the new Greer Middle School, not too far away. A big day for the district because that school was, I believe, 70 years old and needed replacement as soon as possible. The result of a 2018 bond referendum. it's a big day over there at Greer as well.
Yes, sir. It is a $52 million project, two-phase project that has ended, and now today we kick it off so that our students get to officially see it and open the building for us. So it's exciting for Greer Middle School and for Gastonia.
And I think what's important, and you told me this last week, was that it has been designed for a rapidly growing Gaston County. You guys built it with the idea that it's going to need to expand.
Yes, sir. It is ready today to house 1,000 students. Very quickly and easily can expand to 1,200 students. So we are trying to build schools with the future in mind. We know there's a lot of development and a lot of folks moving to this area, and we want to be prepared for that when they come.
Yeah. Talk to me about teacher vacancies. The district doing better than it has over the last couple of years.
Yes, sir. For a little perspective, this year we start the year with right at 40 teacher vacancies. For perspective, last year we had 75, and the year before that over 100. So we are seeing that number decline, which is important. We know the value and the importance of having a high-quality teacher in the classroom with students every day. So we're seeing that number dwindle, and we will continue to work until that number is zero.
Something we've talked about a lot over the last week or so, and I talked about it with the superintendent over in Cabarrus County as well, and that's starting school earlier than what the state really would like for you to. Why does it matter to you? Granted, I could also ask that same question of lawmakers, which we have, but why does it matter to you as the leader of this school system that we start today, this Wednesday?
So it helps our students and teachers start and finish a semester before a natural break, and that's Christmas. So think of students come to school, we educate, we take half a year, they're able to test and finish this semester and then go on Christmas vacation and be gone for 2 weeks and not have to come back and worry about taking exams once removed because of the Christmas break.
What do you see as your biggest challenges as the students head back today?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is traffic, as you see it lined up around. Starting school drastically changes the traffic flow and pattern here in Gaston County, as it does in all counties. So just having folks be mindful of that, be safe and secure around our school zones because we know children are coming and going, and have patience. And then the follow-up with that would be if there are issues, we encourage folks to reach out to our schools' administrative leaders and work through those processes.
If there's some students right now rushing to get out the door as they watch this, what's your message to them?
Be safe. We're here. We welcome you. Just come on, but be safe about it.
All right. Dr. Houchard, thank you. Good to see you again. Take care. Best of luck first day of school.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, great to have that discussion with the superintendent of Gaston County and Ben Thompson there. We got to go to this. The Not Whole Foundation does so many cool things here, not just around baseball, but really making our community a better place. There's nobody better with that foundation than Tommy Viola, who spent time with us earlier today talking about the organization's 6th annual HBCU Baseball Showcase. This is so cool. HBCUs need more love, and they are giving them that at the Not Whole Foundation. Let's go to this now.
A friend to the program. Yep. Man, I think we need to start giving Tommy a badge here at the station. I mean, I see him all the time at this point. I see him all the time because he does great work.
Thank you.
So Tommy Viola with Not Whole Foundation. Man, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to be back here. It's was here in April when we had a West Side Story event. That was an amazing event for us. And now here we are, August, our second big event, our signature event, Diversity in Baseball, HBCU Showcase. So a lot of good stuff going on. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Let's get into it. So it's tomorrow and Thursday, the 13th and the 14th.
Yep.
What can folks expect? What is this event? I know it's Diversity in Baseball featuring HBCU talent, but what can folks expect from this event?
Yeah, so as you know, I started here in February, and this is an event. This is the 6th year now that the Not Whole Foundation will put on an event like this. So I'm jumping in. I'm learning the ropes a little bit, but so excited because it's been an amazing event the last 5 years, and this year is going to be outstanding as well. And like you said, it's a 2-day event.
We do have an update, some breaking developments here. We had told you about down in KVUE. down in Austin, Texas, that was bringing us a rollover bus accident from Travis County. And in fact, you can see we're putting it in the bottom right hand of your screen. There's the tow truck that will take this bus away from the scene, where it looks like now they've corrected. There's been some discrepancies, Jeb, and I was wrong. They have gone back now to 12 people were taken to a hospital. I've been told we had seen a discrepancy that 10 other people have been taken. So now they're saying 12 people were taken to a hospital, including one with life-threatening injury. So we'll continue to monitor this developing situation and keep you abreast of anything that happens down in Austin.
We've had kids in the past that have gone on to school thanks to this program.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see. And, you know, it's not just the baseball part of it. We do a lunch and learn series on each of the days. And that's really fun. That's an opportunity for these high school kids to sit down and hear from these coaches, talk to these coaches, and not just about baseball, mostly about life. And that's an important part of this as well. So there's a little bit of everything. They get a hat. I love this hat.
Oh, yeah, you
just got these in.
Okay.
Flex Fit, which is always nice. We're partnering with Stinger Sports. There's the S on there, but the 72. So 72 is because we'll have 72 high school baseball players. And 72 kids with an opportunity to further their education. So it's really important. They get a hat, they get a shirt. Really, really cool. And like I said, just an amazing event. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk weather. We're gonna have great weather, right? Where's Larry Sprinkle? Can you give me some good weather or what?
For you, it's your first year of the event.
Yep.
What are you looking forward to? Like, I mean, it's going to be some great talent out there participating. But what are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, you know, I want to see these high school kids on the field. I want to see them sitting down, talking to these coaches. I want to see them getting some opportunities. I think that's the beauty of this, is that we hear from kids, and like I said, I'm just jumping in, but already, you know, I've heard from kids from years past where, hey, thank you. You know, thank you for putting on this showcase. It's helped me go on to school and learn different things. And you know, Coach Morris Madden, you know, and his staff, and then all of our folks at the Knothole Foundation will be out there. We'll be talking to these kids. It's an amazing event. You know, I'm really looking forward to just about everything from start to finish. You know, registration and check-in is at 8 a.m. Tomorrow, and it's a full day. It's a full day of events, and you know, really exciting. And you know, I mentioned, you know, we have kids coming from other states. We have about 5 or 6 kids driving from Virginia right now to get here, and excited to welcome them to Charlotte. So it's a great event. It's a number, you know, there's a number of events that we put on, but this is a really, really special event.
I was about to say, you guys stay busy now, whole foundation.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm
like,
busy.
I'm like, man. And there's, when you talk about HBCU baseball, and I know there are going to be other schools outside of HBCUs there at the showcase, but man, there's some really great baseball being played. You know, off the top of my head, I think of Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
I think they won the SWAC recently. I know FAMU has always been a powerhouse.
Yes.
I remember working at my first station, a Fox affiliate in Greensboro, and they used to shoot a lot of North Carolina A&T highlights.
Yes.
So I saw a lot of that, and they play at War Memorial Stadium where the Greensboro Bats used to play. I'm going into the weeds right now.
No,
but
that's great, and they'll be there. So NC A&T will be there. They'll have a coach there. I mean, a number of these schools will be well represented. So that's exciting for us. You know, bringing these coaches into town, seeing our facility. As you know, I'm really you know, just so fortunate to be where I am. Have this beautiful facility, the Richard Stick Williams Dreamfields and Education Center. Stick Williams, he will be there too. Excited to see Stick this week. And you know, we have 3 fields, a beautiful facility, indoor batting cages, education center, classrooms. It's not just about baseball or even softball, because we are doing softball now as well, but it's about education, and that's a big part of it, and really excited to get out there these next 2 days.
Tommy lives and breathes baseball, guys.
I do.
I just want to put that out. You can hear it every time I talk to Tommy. Like, you hear. I mean, what is? And I've asked you this question a couple of times, but I want to ask you again. What does the sport mean to you?
everything. It's funny. I spent 20 years working in minor league baseball. 13, the last 13 years with the Charlotte Knights. Loved every minute of it. Was my dream to work in baseball. Baseball just takes me back to my childhood. It takes me back to those memories of when I played Little League. My dad, teaching me the game. I just took my son to a baseball game this past weekend, and sitting in the seats with him just makes me think of those memories and the childhood of being there with my dad and watching games, and that's important to me. And my grandfathers, we were a baseball family. I think it's funny, probably wasn't the greatest student in high school or college, but if it came to baseball, I always remembered everything. I could tell you, stats and different things, but there's not too much else that I've studied and researched over the past. Certainly not like baseball. So I just love baseball. It's a great sport, and I think for me now, getting this opportunity to work with kids, it's just so much more rewarding. It really is. And nothing against all the professional athletes I've worked with over the years, but seeing these kids that drive in their eyes and wanted to succeed and want to become Major League Baseball players, it's exciting. And we're not out to make Major League Baseball players. We say it all the time. We're out there to make Major League citizens. We want to have these kids grow up and be important citizens, and so it's exciting. I could talk all day about baseball.
No, I love it. I love it. It is so great. Before I let you go, let's talk about Carolina's Metro Reds. I know you mentioned Morris Madden, friend to the show. That tournament is the 15th and 17th. Can you talk about that? I know.
It's actually all weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have a bunch of stuff going on. Saturday, a big day. And Morris, talking to him yesterday, he's like, we got 12 hours of baseball on Saturday. I mean, it's like from start to finish. Like, Morris, what time do you start? 9 a.m. And we'll go, 8, 9 a.m. till 8, 9 p.m. So there's all teams coming in. He's excited because there's teams coming in from South Carolina and other states and all around North Carolina. Former Major Leaguer Pokey Reese is bringing a team in. So it's youth baseball, tournaments throughout the weekend. Really exciting. For me, being at the Dream Fields every day and seeing the Carolinas Metro Reds and getting to see them, it's been exciting. And their staff is second to none. Morris and his team, former minor league players, a guy by the name of Mo Hill, just a legend in baseball. Legend. Mo, absolutely. He's there all the time. I talk to Mo all the time. Love seeing him. And it's just a great group. They have the best interest of the kids. They all have such big hearts. And it's an exciting tournament. Fans are welcome to come out this weekend. There's a game Friday night. Come out Saturday all day. And just spend some time watching youth baseball. It's exciting.
I have a great Mo Hill story. I did a story with Mo. That was last summer, I believe. And when I called him, he was kind of skeptical. He was like, "Okay, I'll do it." Yeah. And so we met, and it was hot outside. We talked for about an hour, and he is just one of the nicest people. Yes. I was like, I don't know how this interview is going to go. But you could tell his love for the game. He pours into these kids. He like you said, he's always around the organization. So he is just a wealth of knowledge and just a better person.
He is. And, you just think about the fact that we have these legends of baseball right here in this community. Yeah. Which is amazing.
Yeah, he's in Gastonia.
He's from Gastonia, and he drives over to us in West Charlotte all the time. And, if you're a kid and you're out there this weekend, talk to these guys, learn from them. They've been through it all. I mean, for years. Mo came up the ranks of minor league baseball and dealt with a lot, and just a special person. And it's a special place. It really is.
And actually, I think I got Mo to break down in some tears. He was talking about the kids. He was talking about the kids.
Loves the kids.
He loves the kids.
Yes.
So he has a lot of passion. Tommy, thank you, man.
Thank you. I'm
so
glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Again, 2 events happening. Now holds 6th annual Diversity in Baseball at HBCU Showcase. There'll be other universities there as well. August 13th, 14th. Also, Carolina's Metro Reds weekend tournament. You're talking about 12 hours of baseball a day?
Yeah, on Saturday. Absolutely. This Saturday. Yep.
August 15th through the 17th. Tommy Viola. Naho Foundation, the man. Again, we got to get you a badge, Tommy.
I'm ready. I'll wear it proudly.
Hang on for a bit. We're going to switch around. It's Live Impact News, so we kind of pivot.
All right, perfect segue because we do have some breaking news right now happening in Virginia. This is happening in Pittsylvania County. We're hearing that multiple agencies, as you can see from this live video we're showing you, are on scene responding to an area of this county, apparently working to get more information around a shooting. A deputy was injured during this shooting incident. Police have not specified any injuries or the severity of an injury or injuries. It sounds like the authorities on scene are using some type of loudspeaker outside of a home, asking for someone to come out. So this seems to be a barricaded subject in a dwelling here. And as you can see, it seems like they have some type of police equipment headed towards this scene to make contact with this individual or potentially breach the home or the building that this person is in. So some developing news happening in real time, as you can see from WSET in Virginia. Again, we don't know much about this deputy being hurt, but it seems, or at least at this point, from ABC 13 News there in Pittsylvania County, that one deputy has been injured. We don't know if he's been shot. There's no specification on the severity of the injury or what the injury is in and of itself. So they are asking folks in that area to avoid the area as they get this situation under control. I have not seen any individuals asking for evacuations as though this seems to be a pretty rural area. But again, we'll continue to watch this. It seems like Virginia State Police, Amherst County Sheriff's Office, the Campbell County Sheriff's Office, and a number of other law enforcement agencies are assisting in this response. We will go back to this when there's some developing updates for you, but let's go to Vice President J.D. Vance speaking to troops in the UK.
It's a beautiful country. I just spent the past few days here, actually. Some meetings, some downtime with the family, and we've had a very, very good time here in England. The United Kingdom, of course, is one of our great allies, so I think I speak for all the Pathfinders here. Is that right? What I say? And all the Red Dragon folks as well? When I say that we are proud of the special relationship and we are proud to work together with our British friends right here at Fairford Base. God bless you all. So, here's a simple thing. We've got a beautiful country here. We've got a beautiful alliance. And I think every single one of you know that for over 100 years, we have worked with our friends from the United Kingdom to achieve great victories. And if you look at the long sweep of history, every time something big happens for the world, every time a great victory is won for freedom and for peace and for prosperity, it is almost always the Brits and the Americans that do it together, and we win every single time we go to war together. You guys know that as well as anybody. But it's not just about going to war, and it's not just winning when we do. When we work together, when we fight together, when we make it clear that we always approach every situation with an open hand, but if things go poorly, we're willing to do what we have to do. We make it easier to achieve peace and prosperity all over the world. So I want to say, from all of us back home in the United States, for all the people that you serve with, that you fight for, that you make it possible to live the American dream in peace and prosperity, we are proud of you, we are grateful for you, and as your Vice President, I am damn proud to be here with you today. God bless every single one of you. Now, it would be impossible for me to list every single thing that has happened just from this single base over the past 100 years, from World War I to our operations against terrorists in Yemen, the history of this base, of its mission, of all of the things that we've done with our friends from the United Kingdom. It is a very, very proud tradition. So I won't try to list everything that we've done, but you guys know the mission, you guys know the story, and you guys know the history. We have done so much with our English friends, with our friends from the UK, and I started I started the week at a place called Chevening with the Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom, further south in the country in a county called Kent. And what we did is we worked on one of our most important shared security goals in Europe, which is the end of the war between Russia and Ukraine. The President of the United States came in 6 months ago, and I just talked to him right before I came on the stage, and he said very simply that we are going to make it our mission as an administration to bring peace to Europe once again. But as you all know, it is impossible to bring peace anywhere unless the bad guys are also worried that we've got a hell of a fine Air Force and a hell of a fine military to back up the peace to begin with. So what you guys do, even though you may not see it every single day, is you make it possible. You make it possible for us to accomplish the President's goals through negotiation. You make it possible for us to go into a room and say, yes, we want peace. Yes, we want to work together. Yes, we'd like to bring an end to this terrible conflict, but we've also got some great airmen back at Fairford and other bases. They're going to make sure that no matter what happens, the peace and the prosperity and the goals of the American people are going to be well served by what you do. So I think if you look back at the last 6 months, if you look back at the number of lives that we've saved in Rwanda and the Congo, the President ended a 30-year war there. If you look at what we've done in the East Asia, where the President ended a conflict, in Serbia, Kosovo, where the President has brought peace to that area of the world, and now, in just a couple of days, with the President heading to Anchorage, Alaska, to try to achieve an end to this terrible war in Russia and Ukraine. You guys make that possible. You guys are the reason why we can go into a negotiation with strength. You guys are the reason why we have leverage in these conversations with world leaders, because they know that if we cut a deal, it is backed up by the finest fighting force anywhere in the world. And that is what makes your job so important, and that's what makes it so important and such a proud moment for me to be here with you today. Because nothing that I do, nothing that we do as an administration is possible without the hard work, the courage, and the skill that you guys bring to the job. Now, I mentioned earlier I was at Chevening meeting with the British Foreign Secretary. I've met with a number of foreign leaders just in the last, hour. I had a call with about 30 European leaders. And over the past couple of days, I've met with a number of leaders across the UK, across political parties, across the generations, because that's one of the great things about the UK's special relationship with the United States is it cuts across political alliances, it cuts across political parties, it cuts across generations, because we've been working together for literally centuries. And you know what every single person that I meet often tells me? They tell me about how impressed they are by the skill, by the determination, and by the dedication of the American military. You all are what make it possible for us to do what we do. When Marco Rubio, our great Secretary of State, goes to engage in some diplomatic negotiation, he knows that he's got the great people of the Secretary of Defense standing behind him. And that fact, the fact that people are impressed by you, the fact that so many people are frankly afraid of you, is why we're able to do what we do as an administration. So I just want to say from the President of the United States, who again I just spoke to, and he told me to give you this message. We're proud of you. We're grateful to you. We know that it's not always an easy job. We know there are often long hours, but I hope you know that the peace and the prosperity and the safety of your countrymen depend on you doing a good job, and we are damn proud of the job that you do every single day. God bless you all, and thank you for having your Vice President here in the UK.
All right, before we close out the evening here on WCNC Plus, we do want to rifle through two of the stories that we have been watching in the background, and one of them we just updated you on in Virginia. So we'll go first to the story out of Austin. ABC finally kind of giving us more of an indication here that it says that 42 students and one adult, they were on this bus when it crashed earlier today. Quite striking images, and in fact, this was a rollover crash. It is a miracle that more didn't happen here, that we're not talking about some deaths. Obviously, we saw the terrible accident in our area over the past couple of months, just a couple of months ago, from kids that were from Columbia that traveled to Charlotte, and just the tragedy that happened on I-77. So I can only imagine people's thoughts after what happened today in Austin. So again, and might I add, this was the first day of school in Austin, too. So not a day that you would ever expect something like this to happen. And some of the images are kind of striking. So what we have been told, that 12 people were injured in this rollover crash. They were taken to a nearby hospital. One person seems to be in serious condition. They were carrying students from the Leander Independent School District in Northwest Austin in Travis County when this happened. And apparently, crews were dispatched around 3:15 local time, so that would have been Central Time, 4:15 our time. So 42 children and one adult on the bus there, and yet rolled over into an embankment surrounded by trees. The vehicle appeared to have some significant damage. You saw, and you can see from the video here, from the front and the side of that bus, the extent of that damage in and of itself. So seems like now there's a reunification of individuals with their families. There's a further evaluation going to be going on, as well as an investigation that continues by local authorities. So again, we'll continue to bring you any updates if there's anything that moves in here. We'll go to the Pittsylvania County incident in Virginia, where we are still waiting more information on this. There's not much that's been coming from this, but it seems to be some type of standoff potentially, because I did see a police truck kind of come into the frame. So we do know a deputy was shot and injured during this incident. We will update you on the news here on WCNC Charlotte at 11. We appreciate your time, though, here on WCNC Plus.